Have you seen those really beautiful and dark moody food photos on Instagram and wondered how it was done? Well, that's the plan for today. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and here we talk about food photography. You clicked on this video because obviously you have an interest in food photography. So do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button, tickle the notification bell so you get alerted whenever new videos are uploaded. In today's video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of how to shoot dark and moody food photography. If you're into creating rich, dramatic, and artistic food photos, then stick around because I'll be sharing my setup and techniques to shed some light on dark food photography. See what I did there? So first things first, what exactly is dark and moody food photography? It's all about capturing the richness of the food using shadows and contrast to create a sense of depth and mystery. Unlike bright and airy shots, which are vibrant and light, and if you check out my Instagram, that's the majority of what I normally shoot. The dark and moody photography focuses on the low-key tones to highlight the textures, colors, and layers in your food. It's storytelling through lighting. As you can see, the bright shots focus on freshness and lightness, while the dark shot emphasizes richness and atmosphere. Now let's talk about how you can achieve that effect with your own camera. The foundation of dark and moody photography, like any photography, is lighting. You need to create strong shadows while highlighting the most important parts of the food. I'm using natural light today since I've got kind of a cloudy gray day, and the window light works beautifully for this. I could also do this with one or two studio lights if I wanted to, which might actually be almost a little bit easier. That way I could create and control the light the way I wanted to. But for now, I'm set up next to the window with the light coming from the back left of my image. I've got a large black foam core board blocking much of the light and a diffuser next to it, letting in a little bit of light as well. I also have another piece of the black foam core clamped to the diffuser so I can control how much light goes into the scene. I really only want to allow the light to hit the main subject, in this case the pasta dish, coming through the gaps right here. Everything else has been left in the shadow. This setup creates deep shadows around the scene and highlights just the main subject, which gives us that moody atmosphere drama. As far as camera settings go, I'll be shooting in manual mode to give me full control over the exposure. I will slightly underexpose the image to keep those deep shadows intact. My ISO is set to 100, and I'm going to play with the aperture to make sure I have enough of the pasta dish in focus, somewhere between f2.8 and f5.6. I want to make sure that I have a blurred background so that I'm isolating the food. Lastly, I'll set up on a tripod, so if you need to go to a lower shutter speed, I won't have to worry about the camera shake blurring out my subject. When it comes to dark and moody photography, composition plays a huge role. In dark and moody photography, you want to focus on simplicity. Think about the negative space and use it to your advantage. Frame your subject in a way that draws the viewer's eye. You can use leading lines or place your subject off-center for a more dynamic look. When you're shooting this style of food photography, I'm a big believer that less is more, so don't clutter your scene with too many props. And when it comes to props, I'd recommend that you're using rustic, natural props like wood boards or cast iron pans or tarnished cutlery for that earthy kind of moody feel. Basically things that are darker in nature to help carry that moody feeling throughout the image. So let's go ahead now and jump into, I gotta do some cooking first so I can get the scene ready. I've got most of my scene set up, and I need a little bit of cooking so that we can put a nice pasta dish here to shoot, and we'll go from there. So you'll notice I've had to switch my setup a little bit because I lost all my light outside. It got very gray and the rain started coming in, so I had to pivot. I had to move to the two LED panels that I have with the barn doors focused through the diffuser. You can see the foam core that is clamped to the stand in the diffuser, blocking some of the light so that the garlic and the basil in the background on the wood board is in shadow, and the light is only shining on the front dish. So now I can put my dish together and go ahead and get my photo. So this first shot's at f2, 3.2 and 1/8 of a second. So slower shutter speed because there isn't a whole lot of light, obviously. I'm underexposed by about almost a full stop. So this is what I'm looking at in the back of the camera. I can brighten it up so you can see. That's the composition. And I'm just kind of playing with a few apertures to make sure that I've got good focus. I'm gonna go put a little more cheese on there. Full manual mode, 1/5 of a second, ISO 4.5, I'm sorry, ISO 100, f 4.5. I think I'm good here. So here we are in front of the computer. It is a day later than we were shooting yesterday. I like to take a little bit of time in between shooting and editing to kind of, be able to come in and look at those photos with a fresh eye, as opposed to just having seen what I saw upstairs. So we're going to pull out the photos now. I'm going to go through, make some selects, and then we're going to edit that photo that we did, the original photo, for a nice dark and moody. So let's jump into Lightroom. All right, so here we are in Lightroom. I've got 3 selects down here that I did want to work with. And you'll have to excuse me if you can hear my computer fan going. It is working really hard right now between recording the video, recording the audio, and me using Lightroom. So it might get a little bit loud because of that, and I do apologize. But let's start with this first photo. You can see now, where our light source was here on the left. It is very dark on throughout. So what we want to do now is put a little bit of light back in there. So we're going to start with the masking properties. And what masking allows you to do, it allows you to be very selective on where you adjust parts of your image. So we're going to go for now, and we're going to select a linear gradient. And what this will do is allow me to bring in some light from a specific direction. Because even though we're dark and moody, you still need to be able to have some light to be able to see the photo. So we're going to bring this up a little bit. Not a lot. We're going to go almost 2 stops. And then we're going to add another gradient. You know what? No, we're not. So almost 2 stops here. And that's good. Now we're going to do and fix this area. We're going to add another mask. This time we're going to select the subject. And what Lightroom will do is it will look for what it thinks is the subject of the photo, what you're taking a picture of. Now, sometimes it'll be really accurate and it'll pick just this is what we want right here. Other times it will give you a lot more stuff than you need. So let's see how it does when we select subject. It's detecting what the subject is. And did an okay job. It added some stuff over here in the plate that we don't really need. So we can go and we can close that actually. Undo. And we can say, another way we can do it is to brush in what we want for the subject and just do this right here. So that's another option. So you can see we could just paint right along the pasta here. The computer's getting loud. And that would be the subject. So any changes we make over here will apply just to this area. So now we're going to go back. So let's undo that. And we're going to do select subject again. So you can see we've selected a subject and it's given us way too much stuff. So to get rid of that and to get to where we want to be, we are going to go and click the subtract button here. We're going to use our brush. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. And we're just going to take away, subtract these portions of the photo that we do not want to be impacted by the changes we're about to make. So we're going to bring it just to leave the pasta as the only real thing that we're looking to do. So now that I've got my area selected, I can go ahead and fix a little more light on that and bring the light up on that. And it'll only affect this area here, nothing around the rest of the photo. I can bump up the highlights a little bit, the whites. I can bring the shadows down. And what that'll do is just throw a little bit more light in here. We don't need a lot. We just need to be able to identify what it is. I don't want to touch that. That looks unnatural. So we will leave that as is. And so now you can see the pasta up top. It's a little bit dark in the front, and that's okay, because we're going to give it a little bit more light on the other side as well once we get out of the masking. So I'm going to add another smaller mask just in here, just to bring that up a little bit. That's really all I need. The reason I want to do that is because I want to make sure that this basil leaf that's right here, it gets some love and some light on it. So that's it for the masking now. So we can close this out now and go back to just our regular edits. So first thing I want to do is I want to resize it. And I want to do a 4x5 because this is going to go on Instagram. Where do I like it? I like it there. And yeah, that's good. And now we can go through and do our basic edits for the rest of the image. We want to bump up the exposure a little bit, just a touch. And what this will do now is, because we're not in a mask, we're just in the basic edits, whatever I do now here affects everything in the entire image. So I don't need contrast. Highlights a touch. Whites just a touch. Going to give a little bit of texture. You can see the texture almost acts like a sharpening tool. So I want to give it a touch of texture. Clarity does the same, but in a different way. It makes it really kind of crunchy, right? You know, you go from really soft to really, really crunchy. So I want just a touch of that, not much. I'm going to skip vibrance and saturation because I want to go down and do that in the color panels. So we're on the point curve. I'm going to add a point here and here just to get a little bit more contrast. So make those darkers a touch dark and the lights just a touch lighter. And when you come up here, you can see in the histogram that everything is pushed to the left. It's a very dark image. So if I go over this and I show you, sit on this thing, you can see the little blue specks that come out down here where there's actually no more detail in the image. It is just straight black. So I'm fine with that. It's a dark photo. There isn't a whole lot I need of detail in there anyway. I can see the pasta. It's well lit. The colors are decent. We're going to brighten those in a minute. So now we're going to start with the luminance. What luminance does, it is the brightness of the colors. So I want just a touch more red I want it to pop a little bit. Now, and a lot of times in Moody photos, you can kind of mute those tones, but I like mine to pop and to be a little bit, really bright and kind of standing off on the dark background. So a little bit of yellow, that red, orange, and yellow, that's what we see basically in our pasta. So I want that to stand out a little bit. And then the green, because it's here and back here, I want to make sure that there's a good bit of green. And then I'll go to the saturation tab. And I won't play too much with the red and those. I think those are good where they're at, but I do want to add in some more green and make sure that the green that's here and here stands out. So in my rule of thirds, I've got my pasta, my main subject right here. I've got a beautiful basil garnish. That green follows through up here to the garlic. So you look in kind of the image this way. Last thing I want to do is a little bit more sharpening down here. So I'm going to hold down the Alt button and I'm going to bring the masking slider all the way up until just the stuff in the main subject on the bottom of that photo right there where the noodles are is adjusted, and I can sharpen just those areas, just what's down here, and not worry about what's up here. Let's see, do I want to put in a little bit of a vignette? And the vignette will basically attract your corners. So we can darken those down a touch. And what that does is help drive focus to the middle. I don't think I need too much. Actually, I don't think I need any. I'm not gonna use any vignette. And there's our basic edit for our dark and moody photo. So that's it. That's how I do my dark and moody photos. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something out of it. If you did, if you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe on your way out. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button too, that'd be most appreciated. Hope you have a good day and a good week, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, and bye for now.